Have you ever experienced that moment when you suddenly forget someone's name, forget what you were about to do, or lose a word in the middle of a conversation? At first, those moments seem small, but then bigger questions begin to appear at 2 a.m. Am I slowly losing my memory? Will I become a burden to my children and grandchildren? Today, I'm going to share with you a simple exercise that takes only about 60 seconds a day. It is based on science, requires no medication, no equipment, and may help your brain become more alert, focused, and flexible. But first, let's do a small challenge together. Don't write anything down. Just remember these in your mind. A yellow bicycle, the number 47, and a silver key. I'll ask you about them again at the end of the video. Before we continue, please note, this video is for educational purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice. If you are truly concerned about your brain health, always consult your doctor.
We often think there is only a problem when we completely forget everything, but in reality, the brain sends much more subtle signals. Think of it like a traffic light system in a large city. As we age, the lights don't suddenly go out. They just begin to dim or flicker inconsistently. You pick up your phone, the screen lights up in front of your eyes, and suddenly you pause. What was I about to look for again? Or maybe you just finished watching a very interesting documentary, but when you want to tell a family member about it, you struggle to remember the ending or the name of the main character. This is not necessarily a disease. It is a sign that your processing speed is slowing down. The good news is, the brain is not like a hard drive that becomes full and cannot store more. It is more like a muscle. If you do not train it, it becomes weaker. But if you know how to activate it, it can recover.
There is one concept I want you to remember: neuroplasticity. Studies from Harvard and the NIH have demonstrated something remarkable. The brain can still form new connections at the age of 70, 80, even 90. Imagine the brain as a system of trails in a forest. The paths you walk every day, such as the habit of watching TV for hours, become clear and easy to follow. But the paths you rarely use, like learning a new skill or actively remembering information, gradually become overgrown with weeds. After the age of 60, many of us fall into a comfort zone filled with repetitive routines. Ironically, that comfort can become the enemy of memory. The dual-task training exercise I'm about to show you is a way to clear those overgrown paths again. It forces the brain to work at its highest level by coordinating both movement and thinking at the same time.
Let's do a small exercise together right now. Don't worry, there is no right or wrong here. Sit up straight, raise your left hand, and start counting backward from 20 with me. 20, 19, 18. Go very slowly. While counting, think of the names of 3 fruits that you like the most. If you notice yourself pausing for a few seconds or forgetting which number you were on, congratulations. That is the moment when your neurons are truly sweating as they reconnect with each other. Now switch sides and raise your right hand. Take a deep breath in through your nose, then slowly exhale through your mouth. While breathing, try to remember the names of 3 childhood friends. Let their faces appear as clearly as possible in your mind. This is exactly how we awaken neural pathways in the most natural way.
In the next section, I'm going to share the full 60-second exercise with you. The most important thing is, don't try to do it perfectly. Just follow along with what I share. If needed, sit in a chair. If you are easily unsteady, place your hand on an armrest or table. All right, let's begin. 0 to 20 seconds. Activate breathing plus movement. Sit or stand upright. Slowly raise both arms to shoulder height, then lower them slowly. Breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds. Exhale slowly through your mouth for 4 seconds. While doing this, quietly say the names of 3 months of the year. For example, March, July, October. Many people notice that simply breathing while remembering something already forces the brain to focus more than usual. 20 to 40 seconds. Add a light challenge. Now, continue raising your arms slowly. But this time, name 3 foods you loved when you were younger. I once laughed during this part and said, I instantly remembered my mother's apple pie. That's the fascinating thing about the brain. When emotional memories are activated, the brain often responds more strongly. If you forget halfway through, that's okay. Don't stop. Just keep breathing and keep moving. 40 to 60 seconds. Activate memory plus focus. Now for the final part. Continue the slow movement. And this time, count backward from 10 to 1. But between each number, say the name of a color. For example, 10, blue, 9, green. Can you feel your mind having to wake up? This exercise forces the brain to do 4 things at once: movement, breathing, memory, and response. Some studies on dual task training suggest that this kind of combined movement and cognition activation may help improve focus and processing speed in older adults. I've received many responses from seniors. One 71-year-old woman in California wrote to me, "6 months ago, I almost didn't recognize my grandson at the supermarket. I stood there looking at him and my mind went blank. I cried all night because I was afraid I was losing my mind. I was terrified my children would have to take care of me like a child." But after consistently doing this exercise every morning for 5 weeks, she sent another message, very emotional. "I don't forget my grandson's name anymore. I can tell him old stories without losing my train of thought. I feel like I've gotten a part of myself back."
I see many people with good intentions, but they often make these 4 mistakes that reduce the effectiveness of the exercise. Mistake 1. Going too fast. Many people think the faster you do it, the harder the brain works. But in reality, when you rush too much, the brain switches into just get it done mode. The brain does not respond well to chaos. It responds better to controlled attention. Mistake 2. Only listening, not participating. This is an extremely common mistake. Many people turn on the video, sit and watch, nod along, and then think they have trained. But the brain does not change simply by hearing information. It needs real engagement. That's why during this 60-second exercise, we must speak out loud, respond actively, remember intentionally, and move at the same time. The brain learns best when it is required to participate. Mistake 3. Exercising while watching TV. This may sound harmless, but it actually reduces the effectiveness significantly. When the TV constantly changes images and sounds, your brain's attention is continuously pulled away. Mistake 4. Trying to be perfect. This is the mistake that causes many people to give up. They forget a word, count incorrectly, or lose focus for a few seconds, and then think, "Maybe I can't do this." No, that is not failure. In fact, it may actually be a sign that your brain is being challenged in a new way. If you have to concentrate a little, then your brain is working. What matters is not perfection. What matters is that you are reactivating connections that haven't been used for a long time. Not everyone can do this exercise in the same way, and honestly, that is completely normal. I have used this exercise with people recovering from mild strokes, people with shoulder pain, people in wheelchairs, and even those who are very unsteady. So if you feel that you cannot do it exactly like in the video, please don't think that this exercise isn't for you. If you have shoulder pain, just raise your arms lower. You do not need to lift them overhead. If you are easily unsteady, sit in a chair. You can still practice the breathing, memory, and brain response portions. If you are slower after a mild stroke, go half the speed. Don't try to match someone else's pace. The brain does not care how fast you are. It cares whether you are truly participating. What I want you to remember is this. This is not a memory competition. This is a way to help keep your brain activated no matter your age.
Now, let's go back to the challenge from the beginning. No pressure, all right? Do you still remember the 3 things I asked you to keep in your mind? They were the yellow bicycle, the number 47, and the silver key. If you remembered all 3, wonderful. If you only remembered 1 or 2, that's completely okay too. What matters is not whether you were right or wrong, but that during the past few minutes, you forced your brain to work actively, something many people at this age have stopped doing.
Our goal is not to have the memory of a 20-year-old. The goal is for you to confidently keep up with a conversation, remember what you were about to do, and never feel like you are losing connection with the world around you. I want you to try making one small commitment. Just 7 days. Every morning, give these 60 seconds to yourself. Leave a comment saying Day 1 below this video as a commitment to yourself. Your brain still has an incredible ability to learn and adapt as long as you give it a chance. If this video brought value to you, please like it now and subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching until the end. Let's continue this journey together to protect both brain health and physical health. I'll see you in the next video.